Hi guys, this is Gerry. Welcome back to the channel. And today I wanted to talk about the divine feminine. And the reason why I want to talk about the divine feminine is because Venus is in Taurus right now. It's been in Taurus since April 19th, I believe. First things first, they have really suppressed the female, especially the black female. And there is a reason why they are doing that or why they have done that for a very long time. And I'm sure you guys can see in your own communities, you can see walking into any societal establishment that they don't really treat women well, especially black women that well. If you go into a hospital, they're not going to receive good treatment. They're not going to be treated. Um, they still don't know about our bodies, or they at least pretend like they don't know how to treat us. They don't know how to deal with the woman's body. And there's a lot of hidden secrets that they don't want you to know, because if the women on earth knew how powerful they truly were, and we all collectively came together and we all synced together in our power, then it would just totally flip the entire earth. Like, honestly, we're dealing with a collective wake up right now, but if all of the women on earth started to wake up, we all just woke up at the same time, it would totally flip us into a new reality. The reality that we saw in Lemuria and the Atlantean times, because that was a matriarchal society, because this is a matriarchal earth. The earth is female, is Tiamat. So, something that I really want to ingrain in your brain and that you might not know about is the mitochondria. Why is the woman, why is the woman, why is she the most powerful? Why is she the god? Why is she the goddess? And this is not to slight, this is not to say anything against the male, but you come from the female, so you need to know that that you are a god as well, but the god that made you, what does that make her? That makes her also a god, the god that made you. So you need to know where you came from. So the mitochondria, as we all know, as we've heard in science class, is the powerhouse of the cell. And without the mitochondria on this earth, you would not be walking around. Without the mitochondria, you would not be able to energize yourself. And this can only be received through your maternal line, matriarchal line. You can only receive this energy from your mother. Your father cannot give it to you. And as it says on the screen, this also deals with your mother transferring all of the codes she wants to transfer to you. If she wants to transfer, or if she wants to take some code, she wants to take some information from your father, then she'll put that in the code. If she wants to take a lot of stuff from herself, she'll put that in the code. She's going to mix and match the best. She's going to mix and match the best code for her baby. And this is all done through the mitochondria. So this is where you can rewrite or activate your DNA is through the mitochondria. The DNA also deals with your soul memories, your emotional patterns, all of this stuff. So when you look at women that's mitochondria or their energy is very low, the people that she is connected to, their energy is also going to be low. They're also going to be affected because You were only turned on by your maternal line. You were walking about because of your mother's will, your mother's mitochondria. And if you decide not to live with women, if you decide not to have any connection to women, you might not live for that very long. You might not live for that very long. Is like, don't quote me on that, but I've seen it so many times. So many times. And I'll give you a quick example. So my boyfriend has his grandpa. His grandpa was living with all of his aunts. So he has about 3 or 4 daughters. So he lived with one daughter, then he went to the next daughter, then he went to the next daughter, and after being with the last daughter, after each of them opened their house to him, and they also were basically connecting with him on their mitochondria DNA. The very last daughter that he lived with, when she finally was done with her dues and said, "Goodbye, father, go back in line to the next daughter," he died. And the light just went out, so he died, but this again means that if you do not have a female in your life, if you don't have any females that love you, if there's no soul connection with any female, you're most likely not going to live a very long life. Okay, guys, we have seen the cross all of our lives. We have seen the cross everywhere, but the Ankh, what they cut off from the cross is the womb. So if you guys can see, the top of the Ankh is the uterus. And this is what powers everything. This is why you are here right now, is because you came through the uterus. You came through the portal. You came down the tube. You came down from the circle. Okay? So, just wanted to let you guys know that the cross, if it's fully formed, it's going to include the uterus. And it is a symbol of the uterus because the uterus itself produces a lot of power. It's the portal in order for us to come here to Earth. Okay, so just like another image again about the queen bee, the uterus, like what we see around us, esoteric images and sometimes images in popular culture, is that this is the queen bee, okay? The queen bee itself being that fertilizes is her sweet nectar. So this comes from the pineal gland. We have the queen bee here, and then it goes down to the promised land of milk and honey, and it goes all the way down your chakra system. It goes all the way down to the root. And yeah, guys, I just wanted to show you guys this so you get some sort of imagery, because this has been going on. These codes, these symbols have been known by us in past lives, but we need to remember why they celebrated, why they celebrated, and what they're talking about inside of our own bodies. What are they talking about when they talk about the queen bee? What are they talking about? What does this image mean about the queen bee? What does it mean? It means that this is the portal of life. This is the power. This is where all the power is. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about is what happened to us, as a species, as humans, and this earth started off with just females. Okay, I'm sorry to say if you don't want to believe me or not, but it started off with females. You can call them androgynous females, but they started off with females. And these females, just like they say that Mother Mary was able to carry a child, a virgin. Okay, so the females on Earth, they were able to produce other beings through parthenogenesis. And if you guys don't believe me, that females, all the women on Earth can do this. We can all parthenogenesize, but we forgot. And obviously, our bodies are probably not equipped to do it right now. So, this is what the beginning of Earth was like. Parthenogenesis until the woman decided, I want a partner. I want to conceive males. I want to have the XY. And one thing that we need to know about humanity is our DNA, our coding has been, again, it has been switched out. They have been doing a lot of shit to our DNA through Anunnaki times. I know that Enki was doing stuff doing stuff in the lab so the Anunnaki males and the Earth women could procreate together. But right now we're at 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons. So 666, this is what makes up the human. And I'll show you guys another picture. This is the DNA that we have. This is the carbon DNA. We are based off carbon. We are not crystalline beings yet. We are not crystalline beings yet because we still have the 6 electrons. We still have the 6 protons, 6 neutrons. And that is because our DNA, including our telomeres, the things, or the part of our DNA, the chromosome, that was hatched off. It was hatched off so we could not live longer than 110 or 120 years. So most likely it will be 656. It will be the crystalline. It will be the crystalline human. We will no longer be in this loop of the 666, of just the carbon. Alright, so moving along, guys, I wanted to talk about the goddesses really quick, and if you guys look at all these goddesses, you guys might resonate with them. You might know their myths and stories, and you might ask yourself, wow, all of them are very similar. All of them, honestly, are the same goddess. And this is what I say about the goddesses or the divine feminine. No matter what myth, no matter what story you hear, it is all going back to the one divine mother. And she replicates herself, or she duplicates. I don't know what the right word is. Maybe it's replicates herself or duplicates, I don't know. Or she springs out her offspring, her daughters, into different forms. So she becomes one with all of her daughters, and her daughters become one with her. And no matter what story or what myth you read about, they're all talking about the same divine mother and her different qualities, her different characteristics. It doesn't matter if you're talking about Oshun, it doesn't matter if you're talking about Kali from India, it doesn't matter if you're talking about the volcano goddess. They all represent the same divine mother, and that again goes back to Isis. Goes back to Isis. Whatever you would like to call her, Aset, but she is the divine mother. She is what all of us on earth will always be gravitated towards, what we will always want, we will always worship, because we know what she represents. We know what she represents on Earth. Okay, so I've talked about this before, and this might seem a little bit controversial, but they put this in the books. They put this in the books, and they write it in the books. And Isis, if you sound it out in Latin, is Isis, and the J did not exist like over until like 600 years ago. So the J is non-existent. Non-existent. So again, it's literally Isis and Isis. What is Isis and Isis? It's literally Isis and Jesus are the same thing. They're literally the same thing. So the Jesus that you're reading about in the books, they all know the ones that decided to manipulate and decided to transcribe and decided to manufacture the Bible. They knew that the true Jesus was Isis. The true resurrector was Isis. Okay, so does that mean Jesus did not exist? No, it does not mean that Jesus did not exist. There's other stories that link to Jesus, like Krishna, who was before Jesus. And there's other gods, there's other sons of gods like Mithra, who also went through the sacrificial, who was also nailed to a cross, that was also nailed to a tree. This story goes on and on and on, but they know that the true savior of the earth is not going to be a man named Jesus, because the man named Jesus in Latin, again, is just Isis. If you really want to go back to the translation, to what it actually sounds like in the first written Latin, it is Isis. So they're putting it in your face. They're telling you, this is your true God, Lord and Savior that you have been worshiping, that you have known about for eons on this earth. This is the true Sun deity. And we're going to put it in your face and make a person up named Jesus when his name most likely was not named Jesus. His name was not Jesus. His name was not Yeshua. Yeshua is a title. So yeah, guys, I think I made my points. Last things that I want to talk about was Sedna. Sedna is a dwarf planet that is, her orbit is coming through, and we're going to be affected by her on Earth. We're going to be affected by her energies, even though she's a dwarf planet. So, if you guys know anything about her myth, she was an Inuit goddess, so the goddess of the Americas, and she was enamored by a man, and then that man kind of betrayed her, was taking advantage of her, and then she called her dad for help, and her dad came back, and then they were in a big storm, or they were in a big turmoil on the boat back home, and so her father decided to cut off her fingers, and she perished. But then she was reborn as the sea creatures and all the sea creatures and all of the mythical creatures that we see in the ocean. Alright guys, Sedna is very important because she represents what has been happening to the female energy for a very long time. Being betrayed by the patriarchs, being betrayed by the ones around you. And we have been in the age of Pisces for a very long time. We have been in the age of Pisces. So the woman, the female, has been asleep. We have been under the spell of Kingu. If you guys want to look it up, and I'll talk about it in a different video. We have been under this spell. We've been under blood rituals to make sure that the human consciousness does not wake up. The human does not wake up. The God self does not wake up from this human experience, and she herself, she represents what is happening. We are entering the Pisces to the Aquarian age. The woman is rising from the waters. She's rising from the illusions of the Piscean age, and she is going to continue on into the Aquarian age, fully awake, fully aware, and she is not going to be subjugated. She's not going to be morosed anymore. She's not going to be tortured. She's not going to be taken advantage of by the patriarchs, rogue patriarchs. A lot of them aliens, a lot of them don't give a shit about women. So I also wanted to show this really quick. They put these images in our face basically to tell us that Jesus is the first savior, Jesus is the one for you, but if we look in all of past mythologies, past images and past histories that have literally been inscribed in rock, we will see the true sun is Ra, the true son of Isis and Osiris, or Isis and Osiris is Ra, the resurrection of the sun. The resurrection of the sun is Osiris. Osiris being resurrected by Isis, and also bringing forth Ra, Isis being able to conceive a son called Ra, which means that he was resurrected from, Osiris was resurrected in real life, and also he was resurrected through his son. Okay, last thing, really important, guys, so I hope you guys are paying attention, you're here with me. The female is the XX and the male is the XY. You can see that the man is missing this last part of the X, so he is still not the fully formed. He's not the fully formed God. He's not the triple X. This is what the females we're all going to move towards. And I don't have the picture, but anyways, if you guys see X in the media, I know that they turned Twitter into X. They have X in different places, and they have triple X dealing with pornography. It's because they want to basically bash the female in her face. They don't want us to reach to the point where we reach this triple X. We don't have this full capacity of our DNA. So, again, I want to tell you guys that the male does not have the double X. There is a missing link, and that is perfectly natural, but I want to tell you that that means that the full capacity, the one with the full power, the one with the full God power, is always going to be the female. I really don't want to end off in a weird way, but I also want to mention that if we look at the gender politics of the world, if we look at what's going on with gender, they are trying to mix up the genders. They're trying to make people feel like they need to switch genders. If you're a male and if you are basically bursting your root chakra, you cannot ascend. It will be very difficult for you to ascend. So making people confused about the gender politics, making people confused about what gender they are, instead of just being fully okay with who they are right now, that serves a problem. That serves a problem in a spiritual manner. It really does. And am I telling anybody how to live their life? I am not telling anybody how to live their life, but I want to tell you that there is a lot of confusion going on, and also wanted to say that just because someone looks female, if you looked at her DNA, if you looked at her chromosomes, you would notice that she has more testosterone. So she looks female, but she's a male. Okay, genetically, she's a male. And there's also males that look like female. There's also males that look like males. Sorry. There's also males that look like males, but they're actually genetically female. And they're not telling you about this stuff. They're not telling you about this because they want to put it in your face. They want you to not realize what's going on with the genetics. They don't want you to realize what's going on with the genetics. And I know a lot of people have come out, like in the Olympics. People in the Olympics have gotten their trophy forfeited because they found out, oh, this woman that was running track is actually genetically a male, and this male that was also in the Olympics. A lot of the people around you that you might think are females are not females. Okay, I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to name any celebrities. I know the women NBA team. A lot of them are very dubious. It's probably very up in arms what they could be. But I want to tell you that all of this is to confuse. All of this is for you not to know what is going on Earth, what has been going on with the female, how far genetics has gone, how far the manipulation has gone, and also what is natural, because it is also natural for these things to occur in nature where it looks like a female but it's a male. It looks like a male but it's a okay, guys, I want to end off here. I just wanted to just give quick information for you guys to research, for you guys to look into if you don't know about this stuff, and hopefully I gave you guys insight about what's going on with the divine female. Like I told you in the beginning of the video, Venus is in Taurus right now. Venus is in Taurus, so she is exalted in Taurus. This is where she belongs. This is her home right now. So I would look up your astrology sign and see how that affects you, how these female energies are affecting you, how this Venusian energy is affecting you. And I also wanted to mention that the Eastern Star, or Venus herself, Venus's Latin name is Lucifer. So again, if you guys can tell, they've always been trying to subjugate the women. They've always been trying to suppress, and they've always been trying to do little tricks with words and translations not to tell us that, again, the true morning star is Lucifer. The true morning star is the Eastern star is Venus, and her energy has been coming in this past month, and it will continue until May 14th. So yeah, guys, I hope you take the time to honor the female. You take the time to do whatever rituals that you feel like are honoring you and your feminine side. And again, the female energy is all about receiving. The female energy is all about calmness and purity. So hopefully you're bringing that type of energy into your life. You're open to receive your blessings. You're open to receive what's happening, all the good things that are happening for us, for the collective, imagining, visualizing these things for us and also for yourself. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it as there, so I'll see you guys later. Peace.